In case, okay, this is for the audio listener. This is Banditland Boulevard. My name is Trevor Howard. That is Tony LaMonica across from me. For the audio listener, I'm going to paint the picture for you. Tony is wearing a white shirt, Bandits hat, and he's got the championship belt. Do you want to know why he's got the championship belt on? Maybe because we are here to preview the Saturday night Smackdown that is going to take place in front of a sold-out KeyBank Center, sold-out Banditland, 19,070 strong on wrestling night. Buffalo Bandits, Vancouver Warriors. Likely, if the Bandits win this game, we're talking home field in the quarterfinals. Tony, you got the belt on. Do you think the Bandits have what it takes to lift that thing up at the end of the night on Saturday?
Well, that all depends on how they come off of a tough loss in Albany after losing in overtime, 11-10. But I think Johnny T has the right plan in motion, and he's got them playing pissed off again. Once they do, it should be a epic, clash between two good teams. Especially how Vancouver now is in the play right now in the playoff picture at their 7-7 record, and right now we're still hanging on by a thread up in the top by a game off of Saskatchewan. So honestly, this game could be concerning, but it also means we're home. We got Banditland backing them up. It is go time to represent why the Buffalo Bandits are the champs.
That's right. I mean, hey, you mentioned it. Even if it's a one-game lead, the Bandits have first place in the entire league. That's the only thing that matters to me. They have playoffs locked up, but man, do they have a young and flashy Vancouver team coming into this house. I mean,
Sure do.
they got a pretty stacked roster. If the season ended right now and they had the 8th seed and the Bandits remain in the 1 seed, dude, I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't a little bit nervous. I mean, if I'm going to be so for real right now, but Vancouver, you see what they did to Georgia last week, put up 15 on them. Buffalo, obviously played a back-to-back, had a very good first half against Las Vegas on the Friday night game. You couldn't have scripted that any better. Coming off a tough loss, I think they are going to be really upset. They're going to be playing with a pissed-off attitude, like you said. But, I mean, it's so tough to win back-to-back games. And what's really good about the Bandits, I know that we've mentioned this ad nauseum on this show, is that the Bandits, they usually do a good job rebounding after a bad loss. And to lose in overtime in that fashion with a second left to go on the shot clock, a behind-the-back goal, that one's going to sting. It's naturally going to sting. It's going to bleed into the week. It's going to bleed into your work week. I think Buffalo has what it takes to go into this one and try to clinch home field the best way that they can. I mean, they got 19,070 behind them. Again, they had that against Calgary too. They laid a fat egg in front of their 19,000 strong when the Roughnecks came to town. But the Bandits have so much to play for right now, above and beyond. They already clinched the playoffs. They're looking for bigger and better things. Vancouver is just looking to stay relevant, and that is what makes that team very dangerous. If they lose this game, it's likely that they drop out of the top 8. They're already going in motivated. They're already going in pissed off. Christian Del Bianco knows this team very, very well, and we're going to go into that as we go on with our players to watch. But, Tony, it feels like, I know this is cliche, especially on this show, it feels like a trap game for wrestling night tomorrow night. I feel like it's going to be back and forth. It's going to be the Albany game all over again. Here's hoping it's not the same result.
Yeah, very unpredictable, as they say, and you think like the spoiler and you know who's going to win the match, but it then turns and twists to the other favor. So we got to just basically go in there and play 4 quarters. I mean the full game. Don't go and just hang your head and give the opponents a chance to creep through that window when you know you have to close it shut. Other than that, the Bandits have the right mentality. They are still in first place. They have the right keys to win. They just have to all-around play, offense, defense, transition, full complete game in goaltending, and just walk away with a W to go into Colorado the following week.
That's right. And before we even get into some of the players to watch for Vancouver, what can you expect tomorrow night if you are going to the game? Number one, the first 10,000 fans get a very, very cool wrestling rally towel. So get there early, get your towel, wave that thing around, no matter where you're sitting in the arena, because we love free giveaways. Look at my wall. I have like 4 of them hanging up right here. But so I'm going to try to add to that collection as well. But you get giveaways, you get stuff during the game. I guess Rax might be fighting some people. is what I've been hearing. But you're gonna have to see that when we watch the game on Saturday. But they're also going to be raffling off, or not even raffling. They're going to be doing bids and auctions on the practice shorts that they're going to be wearing. I guess it has the Bandit logo, their number, and the championship belt on the left leg. So it's going to be pretty cool. If you're a big fan of collecting Bandits merchandise, game use stuff, they're going to be auctioning off those shorts for tomorrow night. But wrestling night, what can you expect? Probably a lot of people around you, 19,070 fans. I guess that's number one. Number two, probably a lot of wrestling theme songs. So you're a big WWE fan, you're a big AEW fan. I mean, they're sold out at the ticket office. Go on a third-party site like StubHub. If you haven't gotten your tickets already, go there, buy your tickets. If you're a big wrestling fan, it's going to be a great show. I love that the NLL and I love that the Bandits are incorporating this because, I mean, if you watch any Bandits home game and you're there live, they already played Cody Rhodes' theme song coming out for the second half, and everybody's singing those words. Everybody knows every single word to that. So it's going to be that. It's going to be above and beyond. I mean, they sometimes even play Triple H's theme song in the opening face-off. So, I mean, that's always going to be super fun to watch. So it's already a wrestling crowd in Banditland. I always call it a wrestling crowd meets a hockey crowd. You're going to see that, but that's what you're going to expect. You're also going to expect a very, very close game because the players on this Vancouver team, while they have lost a decent amount of games, they've also won a decent amount of games. And, man, some of those players on the Vancouver Warriors are tough. I'm going to throw it over to you, Tony. Who is the first player on the Vancouver Warriors team that you are watching going into tomorrow night's matchup?
Well, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the Fogo guy, and that's going to be Alex Stathakis, and he's been undeniably one of the top-tier face-off guys in the league, and Connor Farrell's going to have a tough task coming up against him after facing Joe Nardella in Albany and then now going to face one of the top guys in Vancouver. You know, this is something that's going to first be a key to where we're going to need to win the battles from, and Connor needs to show his toughness, his size, and to put Alec in his place. Other than that, he's one of the go-to guys you got to watch out for because he is just as quick as Joe Nardella, and he's just as, good as Jay Thornbird, if I want to throw his name out there, to receive the loose ball. So you got to beat him to that ball in the center dot.
Yeah, absolutely played out of his mind, too, last week against Georgia. That was an unbelievable performance by him. He looked really, really good. I also thought Connor Farrell looked as good as he possibly could against Joe Nardella, one of the best face-off, get-off guys here in the league. I thought he did beyond expectations for me. I mean, what did he win? 9 face-off last week against one of the top face-off guys in the league, something like that.
That is correct.
He exceeded my expectations there. So if he can bring some of that momentum into this week, I would love that out of him. The number one player that I'm watching right now is the ultimate thorn in the Bandit side. You might remember him from his Philadelphia days. Kevin Crowley is my number one player to watch for the Vancouver Warriors. He is the Callum Crawford. He is the Corey Small. He finds his way to score a ton of goals against the Buffalo Bandits. He's another version of a Connor Fields that plays on the west coast of Canada. He's one of those bandit killers. And if you want to keep them in check and you want to maintain your sizable lead, you got to cover Kevin Crowley, man.
Yeah, limit the good guys on their squad. Kevin Crowley just seems to find the thread in the needle every time he gets control of the ball. He finds the spots where he can exploit any goaltender's weakness. And if you do not have a shadow on him, you better look out because he's going to score maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe even a sock trick for all we know. And the Bandits defense is going to have to do what they do best. And I think when they see the main roster and they know who to aim for, they lock them down to scoring either 1 or 2 limit at best, and that's okay. And you know what? I think that's a win itself. If you shut down one of their big guys like Kevin Crowley, that's a huge, huge guest that would be watching out for.
And, I mean, I feel like this goes without saying. Newly acquired goaltender, player we've seen a lot of over the years, especially the 2019 finals for all the wrong reasons. Christian Del Bianco is coming back to the KeyBank Center, a building where he's played his great games. He has dominated at the KeyBank Center. But as of late, I mean, post-COVID, we had that first game in 2020 of the 2022 season. He gave up 16 when he was still playing with the Calgary Roughnecks. So he's had his bad games. we'll have to see which Christian Del Bianco shows up tomorrow night. And knowing that the Bandits came off of a really, really tough loss on the road, a game that you felt like they should have won after that fourth quarter rally, they're going to come in angry. They're going to come in upset. You know, Josh Byrne, Chase Fraser, Dane Smith, Ian McKay, all those guys are going to be out firing on all cylinders. It really just depends on what Christian Del Bianco you get. Do you get the lights out Del Bianco, or do you get the one that's beatable, the one that can give up 14, 15, 16 goals?
Yeah, and I would agree to that because of the fact that, could be new team, new attitude for him. Because now that he's got a confidence boost after getting signed from a new team after playing with Calgary for how many years now, that would be something to say, hey, look, I could go to another team. I could play as good as I do. But if I have a younger, smarter, knows a game plan kind of core, he could be a very dangerous goaltender if he wants to be. But it all depends on Christian Del Bianco. If his mindset is right, he's dialed in and locked in, he could be a very tough goaltender to beat come Saturday.
No, I agree. I mean, he was one of the best when he was in his prime. It looks like he really hasn't missed a step. I mean, he's given up a couple goals where you're like, I think Matt Vince would have made that save. But he's been out of this league for so long. It's about time he finally got some playing time. And he's only getting better with more reps that he's getting. He's getting back into his groove again. And, of course, they are now in a playoff spot right now. If the season ended right now, they'd be punching their ticket to the playoffs. And when you see a young and up-and-coming team like this, it scares you. It reminds you a lot of the 2023 Mammoth. Remember, they were 9-9, squeaked into the playoffs, went all the way to the finals, went all the way to a Game 3. The Georgia Swarm, who looked really bad in the beginning of last season, had a couple games that were good here and there. They clinched the 5th seed, and they took the Bandits to overtime in the quarterfinals. These are the types of teams that can scare you. Vancouver is definitely one of those teams that I'm not going to overlook. Never going to overlook. I mean, any team that gets hot at the end of the year or in the second half of the season, obviously you got to keep a little bit of a spotlight on those guys. I think going into this one now, time to watch some of the Buffalo players here. Now, they came off a bad loss. Usually when they come off a loss like this, you see your number one guys, your primary guys, and your secondary guys firing on all cylinders. I'm going to go with one of the primary guys. I think someone who needs a bounce-back week, especially after a very, very tough second half of last game, I have to go with Dane Smith. I got to see a regular performance out of number 92 coming into this week, because when you look at some of the errant throws that he was making last week in the second half, the missed opportunities that he had in overtime, you feel like he's overdue to maybe cash in a couple, especially early on in the first and second quarter. Look out for Dane Smith to be shot out of a cannon and lighten up the lamp pretty early in this game.
Yeah, we want to see the Dane Smith that we've seen 3, 4, maybe 5 goals in a game. We want to have him come back and be that goal scorer that he used to be. And I'm not saying that he's bad on his playmaking skills, because he's got a lot of assists this year. But we want to see the old Dane Smith, the go get him, grind it down to the net, and get those ugly, nasty goals that he's been scoring when he first started. And that's the kind of type of Dane Smith we want. We want the toughness of Dane Smith to show, not the finesse Dane Smith, even though it's still good, but we want the tough Dane Smith to score a hat trick to a sock trick. We want that again. So we're going to have him step up. Now, for me personally, and I'm not just saying anything bad about Josh Byrne, but even though he was only shut down to 1 goal against Albany, he's another guy that has to step up too as well and be that leader role that the Buffalo Bandits need. He needs to get that hat trick to sock trick type venue for this Saturday, and to show why he was MVP last year. And he needs to get back into that groove again. So once that happens, Dane and Josh better go in there gun-ho saying, hey, we're number 1 and number 2, the knockout punch for the Buffalo Bandits. Let's go out and prove that Saturday night against Vancouver, who has a lot of momentum coming in. So let's shut them up and send them back home where they rightfully belong.
Another player that I'm watching, other than an offensive player, I mean, we need these guys to fire on all cylinders. We need them to find the back of the net a whole bunch. I want to look defensively, too. I got to see a big night out of Steve Priolo. Don't let these guys push your team around. If they take an early lead and they're starting to get confident, they're starting to get a little cocky and starting to get a little physical with you, we need the guy back there. We need the big man. to hold the fort down. Say, you're not going to push us around in our house. The captain, Steve Priolo, we need him to put his foot down. I guess you can also put in Nick Weiss in that conversation as well. Don't let them outmuscle you. Don't let them push you around. I think Steve Priolo, we're going to have to see how he does defensively and out of the transition. I know he's going to stick up for his guys, but, you don't want to have them go on any sort of momentum run. And I think Steve Priolo is one of those guys, one of those big guys, a big threat to that other side of the team that could stall any potential run that Vancouver can go on. And it's been long overdue since we've seen Steve Priolo play a complete game. A lot of the times this year, he's been taking a lot of penalties, spending a lot of time in the sin bin. We got to see a good, clean, physical game out of number 23 going into tomorrow night.
This defense has definitely got to wake up after what they experienced in Albany. Even though they only allowed 11, which is like they're almost average allowed per game. And you know what? That's okay. But when you take silly penalties that cost you in the special teams department, and when your penalty killing is not looking promising this whole year, you have to maintain discipline and you have to stay humble. No matter what they chirp at you, no matter what they try to do to get you under your skin, you have got to be the smarter person of the two. And you have got to let them know, hey, you can chirp all you want. We'll still hit you clean, but we're not going to take dumb penalties that's going to cost us. Kind of like the misconduct penalty that Nick Weiss did when he pointed at one of the players from the previous game, and that was
yep.
They called that. But other than that, keep your heads up, protect your goaltender at all times, and play your game. That's all you can do.
That's right. And defensively, we need to have a big shutdown game from all those guys. I mean, I don't really know. I think Taylor Dooley, I would assume that he's probably in the lineup. I haven't seen anything that he's not, but sometimes they switch those things up on game day. So you never really know. I would assume that he's probably going to play. Cam Wires, I think, is still on the injury reserve as far as I know, but who knows? I mean, we are recording this on Friday night. Something could change tomorrow afternoon where who knows? We all know that Dylan Robinson is back, which is big for this defense. Paul Dawson's still there. Steve Priolo is obviously still there. Nick Weiss sometimes plays back there. Ian McKay sometimes plays back there. So no excuses on the defensive side of the ball. Matt Vince, I thought he played a phenomenal game in Albany, and hopefully that does continue going into this week against Vancouver. And my little thing about Steve Priolo kind of goes into my first key of the victory, and that is when you're going up against this young and flashy team that's trying to stay in playoff conversation, cannot take penalties. Just simply cannot happen. Stay 5-on-5 the entire time. Let them take the stupid penalties. Let them give you power play opportunities. Let your special teams cook when you're out there on the power play. You got to always keep 5 guys out there on the field because Vancouver's power play, they will make you pay.
That's right. And what you do is if you can't keep up with the speed, you keep the speed to the outside and let Matt Vince see the shots. Other than that, stay strong in position, talk to each other, communicate to your other defensemen, and other than that, play your game. Just let them know that it's your house they're coming to.
Yep. No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is your house. You cannot embarrass yourself in your own house, and especially in front of 90,070. Another one of my keys, and this is more so coaching, I think, and mostly just faith that I have in Johnny T. I think one of the keys to the game is going into this week is remember the Calgary game, 19,070. Remember how that felt when you lost by 6 goals in your house in front of a sold-out KeyBank Center. Did that feel good? Do you want that to happen again? Probably not. If I'm Johnny T, one of my keys to a Bandits victory here is to use that game against Calgary as bulletin board material. We cannot see a repeat of what happened against the Roughnecks again coming up this Saturday because the Bandits have lost 3 games. 2 out of 3 have been at home and against West Coast teams. Vancouver is also a West Coast team. So we're going to have to see how the Bandits handle those guys. I do think Vancouver, as of right now, is a better team than the Calgary Roughnecks are, which is another one of the reasons why I'm a little shaky going into this game. But bulletin board material, Johnny T, you have some. You have some at your disposal. Remember when you lost 17-11? Remember when you lost 14-13? Use that as motivation, I guess, if you want to do that. I think the Bandits team coming off of a loss already, though, in general, are pretty pissed off. So bulletin board material, anything to motivate the guys. We got to avenge our team at home again. Take down a young and flashy team, sort of put out this momentum that they're putting out there.
Yeah, Johnny T will always come up with a plan, but I think what we have witnessed, especially against that Albany game, the continuous amount of passing that needs to be limited down to like a handful before your shots instead of trying to make the pretty play. And I know you guys cook up a lot of one-timers and then you guys cook up at the right time, but when it gets caught on and your opponents are already seeing that happening, they already read you by the book. So what you do is what Johnny Tavares, I think, will do is that he'll change it up and he won't be like that, the flash in the pants, oh, here comes the one-timer again.
Yep.
When it's 5-on-5, but we are going to also do the 1-2 punch, which is 2 passes, take the quick shot, get the rebound, and keep their defense out there as long as possible and really tire them down. And we want to make sure that if we do that, that would be a good thing to do, especially with a young core, because then when they don't know what to do next and you have their minds circling and they keep guessing instead of knowing, that's when you beat the defense of their team. So what I would think is the 1-2 punch shot should work 100% of the time if they do that coming tomorrow.
Yeah, anything cross crease, I think. That is the hardest, one of the hardest saves to make in the National Lacrosse League, especially against Christian Del Bianco. You gotta be smart against Christian Del Bianco. Some of the shots I saw against Albany were just hit the goalie right in the chest. Those aren't good shots. You got to go cross crease. You got to get a little creative when you're facing against a goalie like him. One of mine was time management, shot clock management, more specifically. We saw a lot in the Albany game and sort of towards the back end of the Vegas game. They're waiting sub 3 seconds to shoot the ball. Guys, you get an open lane, and I don't care if you're winning or losing. You got 11 seconds to shoot the ball. Shoot the damn ball. And then if the goalie makes a save and there's a loose ball in front of you, get to that loose ball. But shot clock management this week has to be a lot better. That was one of the reasons in overtime the Bandits didn't win. They waited way too long to make a play. They waited way too long to make a play develop. You got to use the shot clock wisely. The Bandits are usually pretty smart. The last few years we've been seeing the Bandits have been taking shots from all different angles, from all different times on the shot clock, but shot clock management needs to be a priority for the Bandits, especially if they want to be at a good young defense that Vancouver has and a great championship goalie like Christian Del Bianco.
Yeah, keep them guessing. You want to make them go into panic mode real quick. And when they do that, then they either have a misstep or they don't secure an offensive player on there. And it's like, oh, lo and behold, he's wide open and he's got a free shot to the goaltender. So that's the type of offense that the Bandits have to go into tomorrow night, especially against Christian Del Bianco and their defense.
And you know what? I think what the Bandits need to do, this might sound cliche as hell, but play your game.
Play the game.
Play your game. You know how good you are. We know how good you are. Play your game. You want a home quarterfinal matchup? You want to clinch that by the end of March? Go out and play your game. And going out and playing your game also means full 60 minutes. We're not playing 28. We're not playing 45. We're not playing 50. Play 60. You didn't beat Albany because you didn't play 60. You almost lost to Toronto on the road because you didn't play 60. You lost in overtime against San Diego because you didn't play 60. Play 60. You know how good your team is.
Yeah, you almost lost to Vegas because you didn't play 60.
Almost lost to San Diego on the road.
Yeah,
I can count on one hand. I think maybe the first 3 games of the season were the only 3 games that the Bandits played a full 60. The 2 Rochester games and the Ottawa game. Those were the only games where they played a full 60 minutes. And what were the scores of those games? 13-7, 18-7, 13-6?
Yep.
You don't just win those games when you play a full 60. You dominate. You blow those teams out. Play a full freaking 60.
You don't play scared. You just go. You just play. And when you don't stop, no one can beat you because you're that good.
Play a full freaking 60. That's all you have to do. Come on, guys.
That's it.
You know what you're supposed to do.
Just do it.
That's it.
No hesitation. Don't overthink. Just go out there and do your job. That's it.
and defending your home turf should be a number one priority because, I mean, you've lost on your home turf a couple times this year. One of them was in really heartbreaking fashion
overtime
against San Diego, and the other one was just like, what the hell happened there in the fourth quarter? It just got away from you there. So you gotta defend your home field as well. I think this goes into our score predictions real quick, Tony. And
boy, I'm kind of leaning towards
you. Like to volunteer to go first because I'm still low key kind of cooking up a score in my mind here.
Oh boy. Well, I guess I can go first this time. With the lineup that they have and the lineup that we have and the goaltending that they have to ours. Oh God, trap games. I hate saying overtime again, but I don't want to say it. But if they play their game,
doing overtime, you got to say it, man.
Oh God, I hate this. All right, we're still walking away with a dub, but it's not going to be easy. Bandits 15, Vancouver 11.
Okay, 15-11 over the Warriors. How about so now I guess it's my turn. I am going to go trap game's going to go back and forth. Lead changes like crazy, I would think.
I believe in the first half that would be like it.
Definitely. Well, we all know the Bandits have a much better first half or a much better they either choose first half or second half, which one's going to be better. I hope that they play a full 60. I do have the Bandits winning. 13-12 regulation.
Another nail biter, huh?
Yep, 13-12 regulation because, I mean, we've seen overtime this year has not been the Bandits' strong suit, so I will err on the side of caution and not pick them to go to overtime.
Yeah, let's not do that again. But if you were to pick your game winner, who would it be?
Game-winning goal, I think it probably comes I think it's 12-12 probably in the later stages of the game. We'll say maybe around 3 or 4 minutes to go. I could see Josh Byrne potting in one from just behind or just in front of the restraining line. I can see him going top shelf. So
that could be possible.
That's what I'm seeing out of my crystal ball.
I think that would be a wise choice too, but it could be or somebody that just you never think would score that game winner. Kind of like, what was it, Justin Martin for the one game that he got the game?
Hey, maybe a couple years ago, Nick Weiss on a breakaway against Colorado in game 1. Remember that? Yeah, I mean, that was no one really expected that. But you know what? Yeah, I'd love to see like a Connor Farrell go-ahead goal late. I think that would be phenomenal.
That happened.
How about a Paul Dawson Gino to win the game? Wouldn't that be great? That'd be sweet. I mean, the Bandits have played in overtime before where like Scott Self scores an OT, and you're like, oh, that's pretty sweet. How about that? So, you know, you talk about unsung heroes. The Bandits know a thing or two about that. I'd much rather have your score though. 15-11 sounds much more comfortable.
Like a comfortable
game. It does 13-12.
Hopefully it comes to be that way, but we'll see.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Hey, big game though, in front of a sold-out crowd. 19,070 wrestling night. Everybody be there. Come on, let's go. Be loud, be proud. We want a home quarterfinal matchup, and we want the number 1 seed.
Yep, just play your game, boys. Don't let them get to you, and just get to the loose balls quick and make plays happen. Shoot from every angle possible if you have to, but make the right decisions.
Play your damn game.
Play your damn game.
Time to shout out the sponsors before our big wrestling night matchup, Saturday Night Smackdown.
And that is, we'd like to thank our main sponsor. That would be Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, put this on your calendar. This is not a joke. April 1st, 6:30 to 7:30. It's confirmed by the owner. Josh Byrne will be there to sign autographs if you'd like to meet him. Also, if you want to stick around for the amazing food, the fantastic service that they provide, guys, I promise you they treat you like family, and you will be going back there numerous times afterwards. Also, we'd like to thank our other sponsor is Herney's Journeys. If you want to book your next vacation spot, please contact Suzanne Pike at Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. Also, we'd like to thank those who do watch us and see us live here on camera, and that's on YouTube. So give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for every time you hear about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. Also, we'd like to thank those who do listen in on Spotify to give us that 5-star rating And to guys, keep talking about Buffalo Bandits itself. I think honestly the only thing that has sparked this city. So if you prove me wrong,
lately,
please tell me, because this is the only team that has.
Lately, absolutely. The only team lately, the only professional Buffalo team that's not a collegiate team or a minor league team that has a banner hanging down from the rafters of a building in the Buffalo area. How about that?
6.
Put some more respect on the Buffalo Bandits name, people. Come on now. Let's do it. Let's do it. But hey, you know what? Things are looking up. If the Bandits if they win this game, we are most likely talking home field advantage for the quarterfinals. That is all I really care about. Number 1 seed, that'd be nice. But we've seen in the past that sometimes the number 1 seed doesn't always win the championship. We've seen that, and we've been burned by that before. As Bandit podcasters and Bandit fans, we've been the first seed before, and it hasn't always worked out in our favor. Just clinch home field. Just clinch home field. Good things are going to happen. I think we got to end our show though, Tony, on 3 words that everyone in this community knows very, very well. What are those 3 words?
We do it like Sweaty every time. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits. Let's go.
Let's go. Be there. Be square.
Go prove it tomorrow on Saturday. Okay, guys?
Be like Stone Cold. Slam a couple beers. Watch a great game. Let's go, baby.